As an independent artist, I'm sure you will agree with me that it is tough, and keeping our mental health in check, making that a priority in our lives, is probably the most important thing that we can focus on beyond making music or focusing on honing our craft as songwriters, whatever, all the other stuff we're having to worry about. If our mental health is not where it needs to be, then the rest doesn't even matter. And here at the end of this crazy year, 2023, going into 2024, everyone's talking about new goals, new things to focus on. I really wanted to take a minute to just tell you my top three recommended authors, podcasters, influencers that have actually made a difference in my mental health, in my ability to go day to day as an entrepreneur, solopreneur. The road is rough, and I have found these three people to be influential to me, really critical to my success in gaining momentum, in keeping going when things feel hard. So I hope these three gurus can really be helpful to you as well. My name is Becky. This is the Empowered Indie Artists YouTube channel. I hope that you'll grab in the description below. I have a Building Your Artist Brand workbook that for all artists, it's really essential to find what makes you special, what makes you really unique, so that you can stand out in this very noisy, really crowded music space. And if you'll grab that, I'll give it to you for free and also throw you a couple of other bonuses. So make sure you grab it. All right, my top three podcasters, influencers, whatever you want to call them, I find them on social media. And this is where they live. They spend all of their time nurturing their audience and providing so much value. So I really recommend following them and buying their book, whatever it is that you might find very, very helpful. The first one is Jen Sincero. She wrote a book called You Are a Badass, and it was recommended to me by a trainer at a gym I was going to. And I think I mentioned something about how I get in my own way, or I kind of have this self sabotaging mechanism because I would like show up at the gym one day and then not again for 2 weeks. And I always had like, oh, excuses. Oh, I've been so busy. Oh, I haven't been feeling good. And he was like, you need to read You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. I was like, okay. Well, I found the audiobook on YouTube and it's actually read in Jen's voice. And I highly recommend listening to her read her own book because she's hilariously funny. And the nuance that her reading adds to the book itself is so perfect. I bought the book and I've listened to the audiobook multiple times. There are some days when I'm just like, I need Jen Sincero in my life today. And I'll just jump into the YouTube video of her reading it and just pick whatever. And it always makes me laugh. It always gets me going. What I loved the most about this book was it validates the the struggles of just sometimes getting out of our own way. In a lot of ways, she kind of calls you out and says, okay, the reason why you're having a hard time is because you're stuck in these comfort zones. That really, really helped me get out of my own way because I knew, oh, okay, yeah, of course I don't want to go work out today. It's actually a little inconvenient for me to leave my house. It's snowing outside. I have plenty of work to do. I could justify it, but that's me being comfortable. It's not really doing what I want to do, and it's not going to take me any closer to my goals. So I love that she really calls us out in our comfort that we get from the things that where we feel stuck. And anyway, I highly recommend the book. Listening to her read it is just the cherry on top. Number two is a book called Atomic Habits. Had to go get it. James Clear. This is great for the logical brain, I think. This helps me to kind of know what habits contribute to our goal setting. You just can't downplay that because if we say, okay, in 3 months, I want to be able to run a marathon. If we every single day are like, yeah, I really want to be able to run a marathon, but I don't have time to go work out today. What the point of that whole book is that if we're just making basically micro steps towards our goal, that's better than the big, massive steps. And that comes in the form of developing habits. So, for example, I'm going to go back to my own story about the gym, where for a couple of years, I just couldn't find a good gym option. Um, and I had every excuse in the book for why I couldn't find a good gym option until I found this 9 round kickboxing gym, which I absolutely loved. And I loved it. And yet I found myself still stuck in the inability to go on a regular, consistent basis. And I really didn't understand why. Thus, the You Are a Badass book really kind of helped call me out on my crap. But Atomic Habits helped me see the value in building habits one little micro habit at a time. So, one of those things was I had to make sure I was getting good sleep. And I was really struggling with falling asleep at night. And I made that a priority. If I can't fall asleep at night and I don't get a good night's sleep, what's the likelihood that I'm going to feel like going to the gym in the morning? So I made getting a good night's sleep a priority. And what I did was I allowed myself to not go to bed as early as my husband likes to go to bed. It just was not good for my brain. My brain was not ready to shut down at 9 p.m. I also did some testing out with melatonin. Now, I don't want to hear if you are pro melatonin or against it, but for me, it actually was a lifesaver. The other thing was instead of watching TV at night, if I couldn't fall asleep, I would actually get up and read a book. And that would make me a little bit more tired, but I was much more likely to fall asleep eventually if I read a book rather than just stayed up and watched TV or get on the phone. For heaven forbid, that's like the worst thing you can do. So I just made some really little micro changes in my habits at night. And that really helped me feel better in the morning and mentally better. It helped me feel like I was able to go ahead and get the gym into my habit stack. And you'll understand habit stacks if you read this book, which I highly recommend. And number three, this woman is my favorite. And I would say that her methods really were the biggest, they had the biggest bang for the buck in my own personal life. Now, let me explain why. So, she has this concept of when you get up in the morning or like right before you are about to do something hard. For me, it was going to the gym in the morning. As you're about to make the decision, when you're like still in bed and you don't really want to go, or you're thinking about all the things you have to try and accomplish this day, of course, while you're negotiating in your mind, should I go to the gym or should I not? You're going to lean towards the not because you have all of these other reasons why it's just not convenient. So, Mel Robbins is my third and favorite. Her her method is this. It's the 5-second rule. And what it does is it takes away that little moment of negotiating in your brain. It just takes it away. So at night, I always feel super motivated. Like I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to the gym. There's not a doubt in my mind I'm going to go. But what it was missing was kind of this launch pad. And she has all of this scientific explanation for why this works. I'm not going to get into that, but I'm just going to tell you it works. So you get up in the morning and you just say, okay, in 5, I'm going to get up and get my gym clothes on and I'm going to head out the door and go to the gym. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bam, you're up, you're doing it. Even there's just no room for negotiation. I cannot even explain to you why this works for me. And maybe it won't work for you, but she has, millions of followers who really just swear by this 5-second countdown thing. It's really, I think it just takes the negotiation away from your brain and allows you to do things without thinking about them. And in some regards, that's what we need to do. We just need to, like, I have to go talk to, my boss, and I know it's going to be really hard. And I'm going to go walk in the door in 5 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you just do it. It takes away that opportunity to talk yourself out of it. I absolutely needed this in my life, and it really, really helped. So I hope these little tips and tricks that I've learned from these amazing influencers will be helpful to you as you approach 2024 as an independent artist. It is hard, but if you make your mental health the priority in your life before everything else, then I know you can do it. It's just like what the flight attendants tell us, that if we're not putting the mask on ourselves first, we have no way of helping others. It's exactly the same scenario. If we're not taking care of our mental health, if we're not taking care of ourselves, how can we expect to do great things in the world with our music? So put yourself first in 2024. And if this is in the middle of 2024 when you're watching this, start now. You don't have to wait till January 1. Just start now and make the difference, make the change in your life that you need to make in order to move forward and be happy. That's it. I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful holiday season.